Hi, this is journal entry number 3. I'm going to be talking about a common complication in labor, um, and then kind of tying it in with what we've been talking about in class or what I've been watching on the recordings. Oh, we've had we've had some interesting cases this year. My preceptor and I, we've had about 4 transfers, and all have been a true, or I guess you could call it a failure to progress. And two, I want to say 2 or 3 of them were because of PROM, which is the premature rupture of membranes, which none of the case studies that we've had in class so far have had PROM yet. But it seems to be, at least this year, that has been one of the biggest complications that I've seen. I haven't experienced a prolapsed cord, and it is, I can imagine how awful that would be. I did experience, when I was a doula, a uterine rupture, and we had my client's cervix started to swell, and so when they took it back for C-section, they had actually found that her uterus had ruptured. So that complication I have seen, and then I have seen when they have AROMed clients, a thick production of meconium, where we, the first one was a breech baby, and which we all thought Bess had, I believe, but then it ended up being a transfer. She didn't get past 7 centimeters, and even with the baby, so there wasn't a malfunction as far as, her not, or there was nothing wrong with the baby. It was just the baby was breech. But with the PROM complications, the first one, I can call her Tiana. She ruptured at her, I should say that this is one of the biggest ones. We were there for 72 hours. I was supporting with my preceptor along with a doula who was there, and we even ended up bringing up a chiropractor in on this one. She prommed with her first baby at 35 weeks, and ended up going in for a C-section. So she was VBAC, and this was her second time, and she labored for a full, I want to say 30 hours, and she made it all the way to 10 centimeters, and then I think her uterus just got tired, or what I've seen with a couple of VBACs is they actually don't know when they should, what transitioning into pushing your baby kind of feels like. And so I think that I've seen more than 2 women actually completely stop their labor at 10 centimeters and have to transfer because they didn't know how to give that extra push to get baby where they needed to go, or labor really did stop once they made it to 10 centimeters. Baby was just too high up and couldn't navigate down. And with PROM already, I think that when a client proms, that they are already kind of starting at a not disadvantage, but they are starting at a, yeah, kind of a disadvantage. You have a baby that's probably engaged into not the best position, and now we need to navigate that baby or help the baby navigate the pelvis so that with micro movements so that they can find their way into a good engaged position. And with prom, a lot of times I feel like baby just kind of engages very quickly in more of an asynclitic position. That's what the last two prom, and it always goes pretty much kind of the same way. And I don't want to say that a no labor is the same, but these particular labors that have had prom started with, it was, bloody show a couple of days before, um, and they were both just 38 weeks or shy of 38 weeks, and they prom, and then usually light contractions for the first 24 hours where we're checking in. um Sometimes they make really great progress, sometimes they make progress and it's every 6 hours, but they're making progress, and they start getting so exhausted, they start getting so in their head, and then by that time the cervix starts to swell. And so the last couple of times blood pressure starts to rise. So to me, I mean, the body is telling you when it's done. The body is telling you we are tired. um, and then shortly after, sometimes either babies will be um, a little tacky, or they have been completely fine all the way up until C-section. um, but those are the two, a couple of cases. But the one that we had that was 72 hours, um she made it to 10 centimeters. We let her, not let her, she decided to rest. Baby's heart rate sounded great. We had done 2 rounds of antibiotics. She was GBS positive and a VBAC, and then we had a chiropractor come in and try to help her get labor started after we had pumped a little bit, and then we ended up having to transfer her, and then she went into C-section right when she got to the hospital. Um, in Texas, I don't know, sometimes they will give a trial of labor even if they have been laboring at home, so long as so long as baby sounds okay. And we've had, I think, 2 hospitals here in San Antonio that have let the parents actually VBAC. So sometimes it goes okay, and then sometimes they just go straight back for C-section. The most recent complication that I had never encountered before, that I didn't know what to do, was we had a baby with an arrhythmia, and she was a teen mom. She was 19. She did not have the best diet. She had just turned, or she was just shy of 38 weeks, and we went over to assess how baby was doing. Baby had already been in with a primary, with a PCP, I'm sorry, an MFM, co-caring, because we had heard the arrhythmia at a prior appointment, and they actually said that it was a type of arrhythmia that could solve right after birth. But baby's heart rate would be in the 120s, and then it would pop, 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 pop down to the 70s, and she wasn't having any contractions. She wasn't having any labor signs. And at this particular appointment, we listened. First we listened. First we listened for a full minute, and then we went back and listened again, and it just wasn't stopping. So we immediately transferred, and she went into C-section very quickly, and then the baby ended up being okay. So that was definitely scary, and probably one of the transfers that I've been a part of that I didn't know how it was going to end up. But yeah, so lots of different complications. I think complications make me the most nervous about being a midwife. Knowing how to handle them correctly and safely, and so that everybody ends up okay and taken care of. This journal entry is late. But all right,